The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A proclamation of the Holy Gospel as written by Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
As Jesus continued his journey to Jerusalem, he traveled through Samaria and Galilee. As he was entering a village, 10 lepers met him. They stood at a distance from him and raised their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." And when he saw them, he said, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." As they were going, they were cleansed. And one of them, realizing he had been healed, returned, glorifying God in a loud voice. And he fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. He was a Samaritan. Jesus said in reply, 10 were cleansed. Were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? Then he said to him, "Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Please be seated.
Let me start by asking you, after listening to the Gospel being read, how many persons were healed? How many persons were healed? According to my Duolingo, berapa banyak orang yang sembuh? How many? Yeah, I see some hands. 10. 10 were healed. Next question. How many persons were saved? According to Duolingo, berapa banyak orang yang diselamatkan? How many? Yeah, I see some hands. 1 orang. Only one person was saved. 1 orang saja. Now that gets you thinking, maybe that gets you asking why. And let's go to the answer. That's supposed to be the conclusion of my homily. But never mind, let me give the answer to you. Because only one, and you know that already, only one gave thanks. In the original Greek, in the writing of Luke, the word that he uses is Eucharistos. You also know it. Eucharist. The meaning of Eucharistos means, it means to give thanks. It also means mindful of favors, a mindfulness that I am receiving so much favors. It means being grateful. It also means pleasing. It means pleasing. It means agreeable. Acceptability to others. That is also Eucharistos. It also means winning. It means a liberal attitude. It means beneficent. Put that all together, and that means Eucharistos. That is why we are gathered to celebrate. What we are gathered to celebrate. To be a Eucharistic people means to be a people able to recognize all these benefits, not coming from us, maybe not deserved by us, but just the same, it has been given to us, we received it, and that is why we give thanks. Saint Luke draws the line between giving thanks, being able to give thanks, and having faith. Towards the end of the gospel narrative, we are told, none but this foreigner gave thanks to God. So he addresses the foreigner, stand up and go. Your faith has saved you. Thereby, Luke underlines for us that the capacity to give thanks is the same capacity to have faith. Therefore, Eucharistos, the Eucharist, is also our being able to grow in thanks and thereby to grow in faith. How does this happen? It's a long story. It's about the very plan of Jesus, at least in the story of Luke. But that plan, when he started discussing about it, it was not well received by his own people. We are now reading Luke chapter 17, but we have to go back very much earlier when Jesus started to speak about his plan. Who will be saved? Who are included in this plan? And when he was speaking about it, he was talking to his townmates, to those whom he knew. But he was saying that maybe they don't understand, maybe they don't believe, maybe even they don't welcome him in that town. And that is why Jesus quoted. He quoted. And that quote was from the first reading that we have today. He mentioned Naaman. Nobody believes, not even these people whom he expects to believe, people close to him, they don't believe. No one believed except Naaman, the Syrian, the foreigner. And the people got angry with Jesus. They got angry. They wanted to throw him down the cliff. That is the beginning of the story. That is the beginning of the script of Luke. It's so difficult for Jesus to find people who can say, thank you. Even from the very people he lived with. And thus, these people, when hearing the story about this foreigner, Naaman, he's the only one who has faith. They don't like Jesus. They wanted to throw him to the cliff. But you know what? If they only read what Jesus was quoting, if they only read the second book of Kings, Naaman, the Syrian, was healed because of the prophet Elisha. Elisha is not a foreigner. He is from Samaria. It's like a wonderful script that Luke is trying to make us enter. The hero of Jesus, while he is trying to put them before them the figure of a foreigner, Naaman, is actually one of them. A great prophet, Elisha, the student of Elijah. He was the one who healed Naaman. The healer is from them. And yet, they are blind to this story. Maybe because they don't like the character of Naaman. Maybe because not only he was a foreigner, he was unclean. He was a leper. The same story that we read in the gospel. The lepers crying out to Jesus, heal us, heal us. And Jesus healed them all. No one gave thanks except the unwelcome, the unlovely Samaritan. My dear friends, we realize today that the heroes of Jesus perhaps may look untoward for us, may look unwelcome, may look unbecoming, or even unlovely. These are the heroes of Jesus. And then maybe we will become jealous. Why are they your heroes? What Jesus is not saying is that His heroes actually come from ourselves. They are like us. They are near to us. They are us. It is us who do not recognize them. The moment of recognition comes when somebody like a Samaritan returns and gives thanks. This is rare, a Samaritan. This story in the Gospel is also rare. Only Luke tells the story. How do I end this homily? Maybe by following Luke. Later on, after the Gospel of Luke, he will write other reports, and that will be compiled as the memory of the early church. We call them now the Acts of the Apostles. Maybe we can fast forward. Let's see what happened to the heroes of Jesus. What happened to the Samaritans? It's not anymore in our readings today. That's why we're just going like forward. What happened to these unwelcome outsiders?